Hello everyone. Well, I'm making a video early, a little bit early, in preparation for our Modranicht service. And I would like to have like a real service for Modranicht. And I was going to do this sermon for Modranicht, but I decided that it was so important that it had to get out there before Modranicht. Before anybody else in the whole world thought of it. You know, people are psychic and they can read minds. So I wanted to be first. I want to get my ideas out there before anyone else. So let's talk a little bit about the goddess, about the crone goddess, and about entropy. Yes, heard it here first, folks. Entropy. What do we know about entropy? Well, entropy is decay, and it's usually energy decay. But energy is in everything, so it can be any sort of decay. Any sort of decay can be a form of entropy. Anything that uses up energy, uses up power, and spreads it around until there's nothing left. That's entropy. What does this have to do with crone goddess? Well, the crone goddess rules over decay. She rules the modern world, a modern world that's in decay. And this is something crone goddess as she is now, as she is in the present time. It's very aged, very wise, and it also kind of crabby, because she's seen it all. Things haven't always gone her way by any means. She's kind of sad too by the way we've behaved. So she's an aged old woman now, and she's the crone. She rules over decay. Decay, decay. Everything that's in decay. Old rotted garbage, old fruits and vegetables, old meat, corpses, soil, anything that's decaying or rotting. The crone goddess rules over it all. And why do we honor this crone goddess? Well, because she's our goddess, right? She's just as holy and as important as all the other versions of goddess. And she's goddess as she is now, so we should worship her. We should honor this crone goddess. Now, why entropy? What's so important about entropy? Why should we care about entropy? Because entropy is all throughout our world. And you wonder, what's the purpose of this entropy? What is the reason? What is the reason? What is the purpose? What is the reason? What is the purpose of entropy? Does it even have a purpose? Is it just chaos? Like mass chaos? It has no purpose. Or is it just a byproduct of creation? What is the purpose of entropy? Why does everyone die? Why do things decay? Why do things break down? Well, one possible explanation is that the transition from one state to the next. For example, fruits and vegetables become soil, then plants feed on that soil and create new plants. That's one explanation. Another explanation would be humans decay and they go to a better place. They move on, and their bodies decay and become soil, which feeds plants, and they go on someplace better, or so we think. So we think. Maybe not. We don't know. We don't know what lies beyond. We have no way of knowing. Except for people who supposedly have had near-death experiences and can't really prove that what they're saying is true or accurate or factual. We can't prove it. We have no way of knowing. So entropy is all throughout our world. It's a subject that may be depressing to some people. Some people don't want to discuss it. Some people don't want to think about it. Some people don't want to face it. And pagans, neo-pagans, and Wiccans, and goddess worshippers, they all love the crone. They all love the crone goddess. But how often do they actually talk about decay, about dying things, about entropy? What could possibly be the purpose? I mean, I'm sure they see that it's a cycle and that there's a transition to another world and that that's part of the cycle of life. But do they ever stop to consider or wonder or think for even a few seconds, what is the purpose of entropy? Why? Think about this. Think about things like sunset. So beautiful at sunset. Or beautiful beach. Or waves lapping up on that beach. A beautiful lake or ocean. Or maybe beautiful eyes. Beautiful eyes. Beautiful person. All of these things. Beautiful eyes, beautiful person, beautiful sunset, beautiful waves, beautiful pine trees, beautiful leaves, beautiful flowers, all these beautiful things. The earth is very beautiful in nature, out in nature. There's lots of pretty things to see. It's really pretty. And why? Why do we see such beautiful things? Why do humans create such ugly things? Why do humans create entropy, create ugly things? And humans are capable of making pretty things too. They get paid well for it, they'll do it. But when people aren't being paid, they make ugly things, and they make things uglier. They spray graffiti, they break windows, they steal, create entropy. Yes, humans create entropy. Why? Why do humans create entropy? Why did Goddess put us in such a beautiful, beautiful world? So beautiful. So many beautiful things to see. So many nice things to do. It's just really nice. It's really nice. And why did she put this preference in us for pretty things, for nice things, for beautiful things? An aversion to ugly things, and decay and death. We're afraid of corpses. We're afraid to touch corpses. Well, of course we know we could catch a disease from a corpse. But beside the fact that we can catch a disease from a corpse, why would we be afraid of corpses? Why would we have a revulsion or an aversion to corpses? Well, one of the best explanations that scientists can come up with is that it's a survival mechanism. Yes, humans are designed by nature. Lean, mean survival machines, okay? Regular features in a human possibly may mean, that the person is more fit for survival. They might be fitter in some way. They might be, not disabled in any way, and capable of hunting, capable of dragging home prey, capable of telling the difference between a couple of herbs. If you've got clear vision, symmetrical features might be a sign that person has good vision or good senses, acute senses. Nothing wrong with that survival mechanism. So regular features could be a survival advantage when choosing a mate. So we might have that preference there. Preference for staying away from corpses keeps us safe from disease. Catch all sorts of diseases from a corpse, even if they didn't die of a disease. Corpses have diseases, like human brains, for example, could have prions. You don't want to eat human brains. Or a body could decay, and there could be some E. coli or some bad bacteria, and if you touch it, touch the corpse, get this bad bacteria inside of you if you touch your mouth or nose or eyes, and then you could die. So there would be a natural selection for people who avoid corpses. But is there a greater purpose of any sort the goddess may have had? Could she have had a greater purpose for a preference for beauty and the good and prettiness and an aversion to decay and seeing that as bad in some way, seeing decay as bad, an aversion to decay? Why do we want to build up rather than tear down most of the time? Why do we have a preference for building up? Why do we build big cities and build cars and all sorts of things? Yeah, we want money, but where did money come from? Why do we have this preference for building up rather than tearing down? Why do we prefer building rather than entropy, building rather than decay, and structure and form and symmetry? Why do we have preferences like this? Why? Maybe, possibly, this indicates that Goddess wants to teach us the difference between good and evil, and she wants us to prefer the good over the bad. So I'm not saying that symmetry is necessarily good, but certainly a love of beauty could lead to a preference for the good and for good behavior. So it's a learning process. It's a learning process. It's a carrot and stick. It encourages us to seek the beautiful, seek the good, to shun the bad, to have a aversion to the bad, an aversion to evil. So Goddess really is in our world showing very clearly to us that she has a preference for good versus evil. She wants us to choose the good and reject evil. It's obvious. It's obvious when we see all these good things, all the good things in life and all the things that humans find pleasant. She's trying to civilize us and calm us. She's trying to soothe the savage breast. Soothe the savage breast. And of course, breast used to mean chest. So it's not anything sexy. It means chest. Soothing the savage beast. It's derived from soothing the savage breast. And that might be quite appropriate, but it's the humans that need soothing, not beasts. It's humans. So, humans need soothing. She wants us, because of this preference for beauty and for symmetry and for the opposite of entropy, our preference for the opposite of entropy, for building up rather than tearing down. She wants us to choose the good over evil, good over bad, and enlighten us to various aspects of what is good and what is bad, what we should prefer and what we shouldn't prefer. But what is the use of all of that if it all ends in death? What could the possible reason be? Well, probably because she wants people to be alive. She wants people to live a long life, and she wants us to live long enough to reproduce so we can make more humans and have a new generation. So she wants to keep human life going for whatever reason she may have for that. And so she wants us to have both aversions and attractions. She wants us to choose what's good for us, good for humans, over what's bad for humans. And then maybe ultimately she wants us to have a preference of good over evil, teach us the difference between right and wrong. But why? Why? Why would she choose good over evil? Why would she have a preference for good over evil? Why would she want us to choose good over evil? And why would she put that into our DNA? Why would she ingrain it into our DNA that we want and desire good over evil, good versus evil? Especially if there's Maleficent. She's got a dark side. She has evil within her. Maleficent is a force for evil. So, if she has the potential for evil, why would she prefer good over evil? Obviously, Maleficent is part of goddess, and she's part of the bargain. She comes along with the deal. It's a package deal, and we get Maleficent along with the rest. We get a package deal, and this world is full of evil, and God has invented evil. So why? Why would she invent evil if she preferred good? Why not just make us perfect from the beginning? If there is even such a thing as perfection, because perfection is a human whim, human preference. It's just what we humans prefer. Whatever we see as good becomes our idea of perfection. We want things perfect. We want things perfectly good the way we prefer them. And then imperfect would be evil or anything that we find unpleasant. God has created unpleasant things, lots of unpleasant things. She put us with these unpleasant things, and she gave us the potential to do things that other humans find unpleasant and that might be perceived as evil. She gave us huge potential for evil, much more than you find in the natural world. So what is the reason for this? And what is Maleficent's purpose? Why would she even want evil? And why do we have evil among us? These are tough questions. They're very hard to answer. Very hard. But the best explanation that I can come up with, best explanation of all the possible explanations, is that she wants us to choose. And apparently the choice between good and evil, like evil really, we say, well, evil serves no purpose, but maybe not. Maybe the choice is everything. Everything is the choice. Everything. So, we are to choose good versus evil. She deliberately wants us to choose. It's like in the Bible, kind of, where you're put into the garden. You're just plopped right down into the garden. Everything's perfect in the garden, right? But then right in the middle, in the very center of the garden where you can't even avoid it or ignore it or stay out of its way, right in the center is the tree of good versus evil. And all you have to do is pick the fruit and you know the difference. Why not eat from the tree of life first and then eat from the tree of good versus evil and become a god? Become a god. Because the tree of good versus evil is so much more desirable than eternal life. So much more desirable. That choice is good. It's really good. Maybe evil, but it's really good. It's so good to be able to choose. To be able to choose, to have choice. Kind of like democracy. But with democracy, it's the masses choosing. It's a bunch of people. Whereas good versus evil is a personal choice. It's only one person. Maybe a person with lots of parts, arguably, but still one person that gets to choose completely, totally, whether to pick good or evil. And it's so tempting. It's like, in the Bible, the people were punished for it. It was considered bad. That's a lie. That is the biggest lie, the biggest suckers who ever lived. People are punished with death for choosing good versus evil. Because our Creator, whether they may be male or female, doesn't really apply. Doesn't really matter. Our Creator wanted so bad for us to choose. It gave us this free will so that we were able to choose, to give us this choice. Create beings out of her own essence, of her own substance. Could, had the ability and the desire. The desire was there, the will was there, and the ability was there to choose. And we did. We choose good versus evil every day. Now, what is the teachable moment? What can we learn from this? Well, learning may be the whole point. Learning may be the whole point. Learn to prefer. He wants to teach us. Learn to prefer good versus evil. It's a learning experience. Teach us a preference, what she wants us to learn, to teach us a preference for good versus evil. So, Maleficent may serve a very strong purpose. She really thinks the choice is all, and that the choice is everything. The choice is so exciting. It's so dramatic. And the drama is all. It's a show. It's so tempting. And it's a life. It's a life. Life comes out of the drama. We live our lives with drama. And it's not just for show, because it's real life, right? It's like moving picture and sound all the time. And we get to see, we get to hear. Well, not all of us. Most of us, we get to see, we get to hear, we get to decide, we get to choose, we get to do. Even if we can't see or hear, we can still feel. We can perceive. perceive and learn and grow from our experiences of the senses. Senses are our window into our experience. And even when our senses are dulled, we can still think. We can still think. And if we can think, we can choose good versus evil. We can always make that choice, even when we're just alone with our thoughts in the dark. So, this is really profound. It's choice. It's overwhelming. It's everything. Maybe Goddess really likes that. Maybe it's just a really strong liking. Maybe it serves a purpose, but maybe everything doesn't have to have a purpose other than pure enjoyment. Like, all her parts may enjoy it. Maleficent may enjoy it. The light side of Goddess may enjoy it. Maybe like a game, making a game of choosing and making that choice, because she lives in all of us. She lives through us. She lives inside of us. She is a part of us. It's actually, we are her living consciousness in various forms. So we're all her parts. She enjoys living through us vicariously and making that choice again and again and again. Various different ways and various different forms. In Hinduism, they call it Leela, which means play. Like I said, a game is like playing, right? You play a game. It's a game. And it's play. It's Goddess at play, living through us. And enjoying, making that choice. Enjoying her freedom to choose again and again. Choose anything. So much creation. So much variation. So many choices to be made. All of them tie back to good versus evil. So that's it. Modranicht is coming. This is today is Galaxy Center Day. I hope you enjoyed this early sermon, and I hope that it becomes something enjoyable for you, something you can derive pleasure from, something you can think about a lot. Decide for yourself what's important, good or evil. You get to choose. And Maleficent is in everything. Good Goddess is in everything too. She wants you to choose good versus evil. That's her preference. It's even Maleficent's desire. You should choose good versus evil. All of her parts want you to choose good versus evil. But the choice is everything. Everything. Maybe the choice is a good in itself, an end into itself. The choice. You get to choose. The choice is everything.